Okay, great. All right. Welcome, everyone. I am going to get right into it so you can hear from the students because that's who everyone wants to hear from more than me. So I'm going to highlight peers first because you will be our first set of slides today. So take it away.
All right. So I'm Pierce Hillary. I'm a senior at Merrimack College studying psychology and criminology. And for my psychology-based internship, I am at Crest Collaborative. All right. So Crest Collaborative is located in 20 Shattuck Road, Andover, Massachusetts. So that's about 25 minutes from Merrimack College commute-wise. On the left, you can see there's a picture of the sort of outside of the building. And on the right, we have the inside. I obviously didn't take these pictures because be a little bit of an invasion of privacy there, but that's vaguely what it looks like. So yeah. All right, so the mission statement of Crest Collaborative is elevate every learner together. So from working at Crest, it's pretty apparent that they kind of firmly believe that each and every student they serve possesses somewhat inside of them the ability to learn, grow, and thrive, provided with the right approach to learning. So they pride themselves with their dedicated staff, specialists, and their understanding of how to properly and effectively reach their student population. Um, they basically want to bring out the best version of all their students that come their way. So, yeah. All right. Population served. So, Crest is quite a unique organization in that they deal with a large range of students from elementary to high school. Pictured here, you can see this was one of the Walk for Autism events that the school had. So, this was kind of everyone at the school all at once. So, that's kind of what you get when you're at Crest. Um, so the main building, as you saw back on like the first slide, there's six programs in the school. So there's three lower programs, three upper programs. I wrote down a little bit about each one, so I'm just going to go through sort of the spark notes of each right now. So there's the EPIC program that's intended for students with special needs and multiple disabilities. This is age ranges kindergarten through 12th grade. They have the Essex Lower program. This is for students identified with primary social and emotional disabilities. This is kindergarten through 8th. And they have Lifeways. This is for students with autism spectrum disorder specifically, also kindergarten through 8th grade. And then we have the high schools. We have Essex Upper. So this is for students with a documented history of emotional, behavioral, and specific learning needs. And we have LifeWorks, not to be confused with the Lifeways that I mentioned earlier. And that's for students with autism spectrum disorder and other various disorders. And then the final program is Merrimack Academy, which is the one I am based in. And that's for students with emotional behavioral problems, academic needs, and students with, I think they call it like a complex at-risk backgrounds. So basically, anything along that broad line. And that picture there is that's a picture of the prom that they hosted. So that's another social event we have there. So yeah. So my supervisor, you can go to the next one there. So this is Bessie Politis. That picture is courtesy of LinkedIn. Go to the next one here. So she's the clinical director at Crest Collaborative. And let me tell you a little bit about her background. So she's a licensed mental health therapist. She's been working as a mental health therapist for 25 years now. Clinical director of Crest Collaborative for nearly 11 years. She got her bachelor's from UMass Lowell in 96 and her master's of social work from Boston College in 2000. So she's also a very busy person. So I don't get to see her a lot, but she's always kind when I do. So yeah. All right. So my role, we've got rapport, support, and whatever comes up. So my role in as an intern in Merrimack Academy is kind of like ubiquitous. That's the best word I can use to describe it. So when I first got there, I kind of wanted to know what I was supposed to do, as I think most people do when they get to their internships. So I kind of asked Bessie, I was like, what is the goal here? And she basically told me, your goal is to build rapport with the students. So I spoke earlier about Merrimack, and I want to highlight one thing is that a majority of the students I work with are from at-risk backgrounds. So that makes building rapport with them very, very difficult as they're pretty much off the bat inclined to distrust you, which is really hard if you're someone like me who's a little more like antisocial, esque. So it's just difficult. But it's also super important to build a consistent form of interaction with the students. That could be something as simple as saying hello to them. asking how they're doing, saying good morning, or, have a great weekend, have a great day. Even if the action is ignored or unreciprocated, the fact that the connection is tried is super important there. Um, the overall goal, I would say, is said in the second bullet point there, which is to provide support to them in any way possible. In short, you just want to make that lasting impact on the population. And of course, other things come up. You may be asked to report on students who are more drawn to you, who tell you things like, oh, I've been using substances or something like that. And that's something that I haven't told anyone else. You're required to report on that. So that's part of the role too. All right, we can go to the next one here. So why I chose my role? Why did I choose to intern at Crest? So I chose my role at Crest because I already had experience working with young adults. So I had experience working with like the ages 18 to 23. And I just wanted to work with a new population. So the population I work with now is that 13 to 17, 18 range. So it's vastly different from what I'm used to. And it was also something that I hadn't really had experience with, but it was something that I knew I always wanted to try. And I also love their mission statement of elevating students together. And Bessie, who I mentioned earlier, when I toured there, she was really nice and she made me want to intern there, I think, pretty much when I got there. So that was really nice. All right, next. And you can go to the next one too. Challenges. So I have the four challenges here. So we got trust, we got immaturity, vulgar, and volatile. So trust. I kind of mentioned this earlier. So at-risk persons, they're kind of harder to build that trust with. And you will get negative feedback, which is a hard thing because it's something a lot of people struggle with. You will try to connect with them and you'll get, I'll cover this more in the third one here with vulgar, but you'll get told some not very nice things. Immaturity. So it's not easy to connect with people who are a little structure lacking, and it's hard to communicate with a population that's like a lot younger than us. Um, and within the Merrimack area, it's a lot of Spanish speaking people. So there's also that additional language barrier, which is a little um, hard to manage. Then we have vulgar. So this is kind of self-explanatory, but they're high school students. They're going to be rude. They're going to say inappropriate things directed at you as well. And you kind of have to deal with that as it comes. And that leads me to my fourth point. It was volatile. So the environment's constantly changing. No day at Crest is going to be the same. And you kind of just have to take each day as its own thing, which can be good and bad, but you'll come to, I don't know, understand it. All right, next. All right. So what I like most about Crest Collaborative. So connection with the student. So Crest is a very hands-on place. There's not really a lot of like research-based stuff you're doing. You're really there in the grit with the students, which is really nice because it adds a personal touch, which I really like. It's very hands-on, so you're directly in there. I've worked with some of the students, like if they're skipping class and they don't want to do their homework as a support intern. We sort of like give them a helping hand, walk them through it, and you see that reward in live time. So you see the progress of the student, you see them come out of their shell to you. Yeah, it's just a really nice environment to be around, and I think that's why I like it so much. And I'm very happy I chose this internship. And yeah, so that's Crest Collaborative. I hope you guys learn a thing or two. Yeah,
Great. Thank you so
thank you.
much. Awesome. All right. Oop, I stopped sharing. Okay. Next up, we have Sophia.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So my name is Sophia. I am currently a junior, and I am a psychology and neuroscience major, and I am currently interning at the SCAN lab on Merrimack campus. SCAN stands for Social Cognition and Affective Neuroscience, and there's a bunch of studies running, but currently our main ones are the BRAVE study, the RESET study, the BREEZE study, and the RISK study. So our overall mission at the Scan Lab, there's a couple, but the three months are to determine the social cognition and behavioral neuroscience of emotional regulation, to determine the impact of sleep on learning, memory, and emotions, and to determine the impact of motivation and external internal factors on performance. And to the left, I just have a link to the website if you wanted to look more into that, because all the missions are kind of different depending on each study. So I'm mostly directed with the RESET project, which stands for Regulation of Emotion and Sleep Extension Post TBI. So MBTI, which in other words is just a concussion, is often followed by sleep problems and emotional dysregulation, such as anxiety, depression, irritability, and therefore poor sleep impairs connectivity between the prefrontal cortex and amygdala, which reduces top-down control of emotions. And so, evidence has shown that napping has been shown to enhance emotional memory, reduce emotional reactivity, and increase frustration tolerance, but has not been studied as an intervention for MBTI. So overall, we just want to get a better understanding of whether naps can improve emotional regulation as a low-cost, accessible supplement to rehabilitation. In other words, this is kind of like just the main point of our study. It determines to investigate whether a midday nap can improve emotional regulation in individuals recovering from a mild traumatic brain injury or an MBTI. So what exactly am I? I specifically am a research assistant as an intern, but there are tons of other positions and roles. I know a couple of my colleagues are doing fellowships there. I know a lot of mine are doing direct research or their senior thesis project, since that's all required as your psychology major. But I know also a couple of people who are just being paid to be a research assistant, which is something that you can just be paid for it essentially, which is what I do. But I'm not being paid. I should clarify that. I'm an intern. So these are my supervisors. To the left is Professor Sychek, and to the right is Professor Kurtzel, and they are both co-principal investigators of the SCAN lab, and they're both professors of psychology. Professor Sychek is more responsible for the eye tracking portion of our study, and then Professor Kurtzel is more responsible for the EEG cap application and that whole entire process. So they kind of like work together, and like they both obviously know how both parts of the studies work, but it's like they kind of focus on one part of the study more than the other part, if that makes sense. So what do I do as an RA? I am responsible for application and cleaning of the EEG cap, using brain vision electrodes to record the brain while asleep, PSG, awake EEG, and actively participating in behavioral tasks, ERP, using the eye tracker to determine the size of the pupil in the cornea, assisting the participant in completing behavioral tasks, and making sure the participant is comfortable and understands how the experiment works, and just helping other studies when needed. So I'm also working part-time in the risk study. So you can kind of get placed in a couple of studies, but you have like a main study that is like your main interest, which mine is obviously the reset study. So yeah. Why did I choose this internship? I am a psychology and a neuroscience major, so this kind of felt like the perfect fit for me because I felt like I was getting kind of both of those like interests, if that makes sense, because it kind of it explains how the brain is impacted on a more emotional level and then on a more physical level. So I thought that was kind of cool. I also love the people I work with. Everyone is extremely supportive and wants you to reach your full potential. And it's also on campus, which is really nice for people like me who do not have a car. And it's super accommodating for a student's schedule since it can already be extremely busy. So, yeah. Some possible hurdles. I think the main one overall is just that your workload is very dependent on how many participants you get. So sometimes you may get 2 or 3 participants a week and it can be kind of hectic, or sometimes you just might have none at all. Recently, we've been having a lot more participants, but I know in the past years, it's been like kind of off and on, which is great, but it can really just depend on how many people are seeing the flyers. You also have to find times to that work for everyone as a team because you will be working with 2 or 3 people at a time. It is a team effort, so you kind of are always with people and always working around other people's schedules. Um, and going off of that, you are working with people directly, especially their head and hair. So if you're not social or if you don't like touching other people's hair, it's probably not the best fit for you, especially in the reset study. Some of the other ones are not as like directly like physically touching participants, but at least in the reset study you are. And it's also a lot of software and technology use, so it can be confusing. At least it was for me because I'm not really good with that kind of stuff, but I think it's a great experience and you'll eventually get the hang of it. Some of my favorite things about the reset study or just the scan lab in general, I love my supervisors. They help me with even more than just my internship and are setting me up for a successful future. So I will be doing direct research with the scan lab next semester. Overall, it's just a really great opportunity. And I feel like there's so many different studies that you can work on. They're just very interesting, in my opinion. And I'm usually working with people my age, whether that's the participants or my colleagues. And I overall just love the reset study. That's always kind of been my main interest. So, yeah. And I just have a little flyer down to the right. If you want to join the team or if you want to be a participant, you do get a $120 gift card, which is great. So, you can just email us at the concussion research at merrimack.edu. Yeah.
Great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Okay, next we've got Brianna.
Hi, my name is Brianna. I'm a senior at Merrimack, and my internship as is Key Programs. Key Programs is a nonprofit organization in Massachusetts and Rhode Island. It provides residential and community-based services at-risk youth families. Its mission is to, you can go to the other slide. Thank you. Its mission is to assist children and their families in developing positive life skills so that they may pursue productive and rewarding lives. Their values are strength-based, traumas-informed care, respect and cultural awareness, family and community safety, and quality and compassionate services, and advocacy and innovation. The population served by Keys, it's children and adolescents and families across Massachusetts and Rhode Island. Its clients involved in child welfare, juvenile, also the juvenile justice system and mental health services. It's focused on trauma-informed and family-centered support. And then I have like a visual breakdown, the population served by like the KEY program. On the left, you can see about like 69 percent of the youth served are ages 15 and older, showing that the agency works mostly with older adolescents preparing for independency. In the center, the gender chart shows the service are nearly balanced between male and female clients, with a small percentage identifying as transgender or non-binary. On the right, you can see the racial ethnicity. Key serves are a very diverse population, including white, Latino, Black, and multiracial youth. Together, these charts show that Key provides inclusive, trauma-informed care to a wide range of young people and families. Their jobs and roles. So there's like different roles. Residential caseworkers provide daily care and support to the youth. There's usually overnight because they have to be observed 24/7. They can never be left alone. They ensure safety and supervision during night shifts. And then there's also peer mentors. They guide and support youth in building life skills. There's also clinical therapists, program managers, and outreach caseworkers. So my role is to assist staff with daily activities and supervision to the youth in the group home, help plan and participate in recreational or educational activities, just observe them at all times, build relationship with residents and serve as a positive role model, and maintain a safe and respectful, supportive environment for the youth. Why I chose this internship, I chose the site because I wanted to gain a real experience working with at-risk youth and to understand how trauma informed care is used in a residential setting. It is a great opportunity to learn how professionals support clients emotionally and and their behavioral growth. The challenges, one of the biggest challenges is learning how to stay calm and professional because sometimes I mean, they're like young kids, ages 13 to like 15. So it's like in any moment they just like they get like I guess they get angry just because they're trying to manage their emotions. So, one of the biggest challenges is learning how to stay calm and professional during the stressful situations, especially when residents are upset. It's also emotionally challenging at times because um, but it has helped me grow to become patient with them because it's a lot. What I like most so far is building positive relationship with the youth, seeing small improvements in behavior, or attitude over time, and working and supporting experienced staff, learning how the real world application of psychology and social work works.
Awesome.
And that's it.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right, so my internship, I'm doing it at Sweet Paws Rescue, specifically within their junior rescue program. Can
Right. Yes. There we go.
Okay, so Sweet Paws Rescue is a foster-based rescue organization. And we are based currently in Groveland, but it's not a brick and mortar like shelter place. We use our facility mainly for isolating dogs and also as a temporary holding place. But we do have a facility in Groveland, but we recently purchased a farm in Boxford, which is the picture there, and we're hoping to use that as our new facility, but also to expand on the humane education program, which I've been working on as a part of this internship too. Um, but our real goal is to help not just with rescuing the animals, but really providing change in the community. So can so the junior rescue program basically it's everyone under the age of 18. Um, but that we also do life skills groups. So sometimes we have a group from Beth Israel that comes. We have some local high school life skill programs that come. So we really get to see a variety. Basically, the junior rescue program is junior rescue, but also it's kind of morphing into a humane education initiative, to really help combat. There's been a huge increase in animal neglect and strays here in Massachusetts in our own communities. So we really want to help inspire the next generation in order to provide change. So the junior rescue program originally was more like focused on let's have kids raise money and, donate, and now it's transforming more into humane education. So Sweet Paws Rescue, we are volunteer powered and we have over 300 volunteers. We only have one paid employee who is our founder, and she even then doesn't get paid a lot. So we really rely on our volunteers to help run this organization. Volunteers range from, people who come in once a month to hang out with puppies to people who are there every day. And this is a picture of just some of our volunteers at an event recently, but it's a really cool initiative. And with the junior rescue program, though, we have about five main volunteers who really are a part of that, and including me. So my supervisor is Jenna. Jenna, she went to Leslie and she's currently a special ed teacher at Reading Memorial High School. And she does this because she just loves kids. She loves teaching. And she really wants to help with combining her love for rescue and her love for education together to kind of take a part in this role, especially because she works with high school kids on the regular already. So she's super supportive and she's been a really great resource to have through this, and she's willing to listen to my ideas. We're bouncing ideas off each other. She's just very supportive and she wants me to learn, which I like. And that's her husky Marshall, and he sometimes comes to our junior rescue nights, and he's super cool. So my intern role, basically, I do a bunch. I would say my internship's about 50% in person, 50% online. In person, I help a lot with the high school and life skills groups. So I'll go there, I'll supervise, I'll work with them, and it can range from like 10 high schoolers one night to some of the life skills groups. We only have two people come, and they have a one-on-one. So it varies the tasks we do during those based on the people we have that we're supervising. The rest of my internship has really been focused on creating materials for the outreach, talking to high schools, seeing how we can get their kids involved. I'm going to a high school career fair next weekend, so I'm super excited for that to talk about different opportunities we have available and how to get kids more involved in high school and after high school. I've also been working on some website updates for our program and doing research on ways we can help educate not just kids but adults on responsible pet ownership. So I get to do, it's really cool because it's a very dynamic internship and I have a lot of roles I play in it that isn't just, I would say, like your typical internship. I get to work on a lot of different skills through it. So why this internship? I really enjoy rescue animal work, and being able to kind of combine these two has been really great because I do a lot with Sweet Paws in general. I foster for them. I volunteer at the facility, but I never really was a part of the junior rescue program, so getting to step into that role has been really cool. Along with kind of working with others and learning too just about like nonprofit management. So it's given me a lot of really great skills that I've been able to explore. So some of the challenges is definitely communication. Just because again, it's hard. It's a like just communication in general with high schoolers. You don't always get a response. With being a volunteer-based organization, there's also challenges because, like Jenna, for example, during the summer, she can do a lot more with the program, whereas during the school year, being a teacher is her full-time job, so that takes priority. So it's hard as everyone being volunteer-based, has different levels of commitment they're able to give. Um, and I would say another big challenge is expanding the program because children under the age of 14 really can't do a lot without a parent, just legally, because working with animals and all of that. So we're trying to find more ways to get them involved and engaged, even if it's not directly working with the animals or coming to our facility because they're younger without a parent. So we've been exploring different roles to kind of get everyone involved regardless of age. And what I like the idea of like helping inspire kids, and not just kids, honestly, but other people who, we see such an increase in dogs being dumped here in Massachusetts and lack of education surrounding it. So hopefully being able to develop some materials to kind of educate them and really launch this humane education program we're hoping to build. Um, Going along with that, spreading awareness and really looking at like the best ways we can make a difference. And just learning more skills. Like I said, it's a very dynamic internship. I get to do a lot of cool different things and work on skills that, may not be direct psychology skills, but like building a website, talking to different people, talking to schools, going to things, like they're all important skills that I will need later in life, even if it's not just an experience, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. Awesome. Thank you. All right.
All right. How you doing? I'm Keith. Um, my internship was at Galvin Middle School. Mine's a little bit more unorthodox, actually. This is something that I kind of did on the whim. So a little bit about the organization, obviously from the name, Gallup Middle School. It's a middle school. Their mission statement is called I Care. So each letter stands for something different. For the I, it's integrity, where they kind of do the right thing. C stands for community, where they care deeply about their school. A is for acceptance, where they celebrate the differences. R standing for relationships, where they respect each other, and then E for excellence, where they give our best. As far as population served, it serves middle school students grades from 5 through 8, approximately the ages of 10 to 14. And within that, there's the MECO program, which is Metropolitan Council for Educational Opportunity Programs. So with that, for like when my internship is, I pretty much work within like that program specifically, but I also like work with like the middle school students themselves. And then for the third one, it promotes academic growth, inclusivity, and then social emotional learning for all students. As far as staff roles, pretty typical. Teachers, they deliver engaging lessons and foster academic development. The school counselors support students as far as academical and emotional needs. Adjustment counselors, they help the students manage their behavioral and emotional challenges. Administrators, obviously, they lead school operations, and then the school psychologists, they conduct assessments and interventions. So my pretty much supervisor or point of contact would be Glavia Smith. So she's the medical director for the town of Wakefield. A little bit about her background. So she does work with the town of Wakefield. So she works with not only the high school, but all the middle schools and the elementary schools. She's been the medical director for the past 5 years. Before doing all of that, she entered her education with knowledge on how trauma and family dynamics impact the students in the school environment. She also is a proud member of the National Association of the Black Social Workers. As far as that, before that, Glavit is a proud MECO alumni of Dover Sherburne Regional High School, and she is a graduate from Simmons University, where she received her master's in social work. Pretty much my role as an intern is to kind of assist Glavia in supporting students from the MECO program, both academically and socially. Kind of just help facilitate student check-ins and small group discussions, support equality and inclusions initiatives within the school community, observing and participating in counseling for academic support sessions, and then kind of just encouraging positive student engagement aligned with the I Care values. So my reason for choice, I kind of wanted to experience something different. Typically with my range, I'm typically working with elementary kids, so I want a little bit of change. So I wanted to work with older students. It was also opportunity for me to kind of apply my psychology and communication skills in a real world setting and kind of really just align with my long-term goals as far as just supporting youth development. Some challenges would be adjusting to different student personalities and behavior styles across all grade levels. Balancing being approachable as far as being maintaining professionalism and authority, and then kind of just navigating some sensitive topics with students. As far as like what I like most, really is just building positive relationships with students overall, and then seeing how the impact of support and connections on students' confidence and growth has been since my time being there, and then pretty much just being part of a collaborative and caring school community. And that's it.
Great, thank you. All right, Julia. Okay. Wait, let me get a better lighting here. So hey guys, I'm Julia. I am a senior. I'm a neuroscience and psychology major, so you guys will see that my internship is with neuro and psychology. I have been at my site since the beginning of the summer, so I had a bunch of experience in like different teams. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. So yeah, I am at the Massachusetts General Hospital, the Harvard Center for Addiction Medicine, and the population that we serve is a big, wide range because in the center
We have the school-based team, which is more of like the behavioral research, and then the brain imaging team. I was first hired as an intern for the behavioral team, and I actually ended up transitioning to the neuroscience and brain imaging stuff because that's what I'm interested at. But no matter what team you're working with, we usually have the healthy controls that are just people that don't use substances. The center's mostly focusing on like young adults and kids. Some neuro research is like older people, but I work mostly with people ranging from 14 till 27, I would say. And then where we're actually experimenting with just researching is marijuana, nicotine, alcohol. Those are the mo most commons, but sometimes we see like some hard drugs like opioids and just hallucinogens, other types of drugs. The mission statement of the hospital is to strengthen the global delivery of quality psychiatry care through bidirectional research, training, technical assistance, and service delivery with international global partners. So, MesGen, like, there's a bunch of people involved in the research. I'm personally involved in the in a study that is called FNIRS, which are basically something that I'm gonna talk more about it, but we're basically looking at brain imaging and the brain connectivity of people that use a lot of marijuana and then comparing to healthy control. And we are getting the brain imagings while they're doing tasks, which is pretty cool. So the staff there's like the medical degrees and PhD principal investigators. So they have several PIs, and I personally work closely to one of them. Um, but it's not someone that you would be going to all the time. Um, my personal supervisors are the clinical research coordinators. So there's one that is the lead CRC for the project you're working with. There's like so many projects, and then there are other CRCs that have like different tasks. So like one person's more in charge of recruitment, one person's more in charge of the actual study visits, and then those are the people that I like get my tasks assigned. And then the interns, there's only 5 interns. We have several tasks because at first, before you fully commit to a study, you kind of like get a sense of all of the protocols, like everything. So yeah, I am currently in one specific study because I've been there since the start of the summer, so I'm fully trained to do study visits by myself by now, but you can like get a lot of experience. So yeah, those are my current supervisors. Emily, she's like my best friend. She's the person ever, best person ever. I'm a pre-med as well, so she just got into medical school. She is more than a supervisor for me. She literally helps me with absolutely everything in a super professional manner, but she's helping with me with the MCAT, with my applications. So the people there are super, super friendly. They are super understandable and they're just like super open. Jody's my PI. The fact that I even call her Jody, you guys can tell that she's super nice. Like people would call like Dr. Gilman. But she personally like I expressed interest. That's something very important. I expressed my interest on her research and doing literature reviews and doing so much that she ended up like being open to like know exactly who I am, how I work, and just like feel free to email me and be like, can you do this for me? Can you do this literature search? So I developed a pretty good relationship with her. And then Liam, he's the lead CRC of the project that I work on, and he's like also super great, taught me so much, and I respond to him. So my role right now, I have several roles because since I've been there, since the summer, I did get a lot of training done and I got a lot of like certifications to be able to like operate like MRI machines and just like data analysis, like softwares. So I right now can run study visits, the behavioral stuff and the brain imaging part, which is super, super cool. I did a lot of participant recruitment that when you start, it's pretty nice. It kind of gets old, but it's a very good skill to have. Data entry and data checking is something that I was not super familiar with. And then now I'm pretty good at it, so that's great. Statistics definitely was the hardest part of the internship so far because my PI like personally asked me and I found like mistakes on their system. I'm not a big stats girl, but I did find that and I it was actually good because they did change like all of their system, but it was definitely a very stressful time. Great learning. I do literature reviews for my PI. That's not in the intern's role, but if you want, again, like you can always go beyond the work that you're assigned to. I did a lot of advertisement creation. I am a very creative person and I really, really like to just like help in kind of like every aspect of the research. So I did a lot of flyers, communications. I did like the visual part for a bunch of different studies because they liked what I did, and other PIs were like, "Can you check that, do that?" So, yeah, I do drug tests. Obviously, like I work with addiction medicine, so we need to like, if it's a person that is from like, I don't know, Texas, Miami, we need to ship them a urine kit to do their drug test and then they ship it back. I would like take it to the lab and then we have like partners that do that for us. And then I attend a lot of meetings as well. I didn't do this at the beginning, but now I'm pretty involved, so I go to a lot of meetings. So why MGH? It's a great clinical research experience. I feel like I was before working there, I was in doubt if I wanted to go to a PhD route or to a medical school route. I feel like that's a great opportunity either because if you want to go to medical school, you need research experience and like having MGH in your resume is great. You have great mentoring. Like Jody, my PI, she's the director of the neuroscience program at Harvard. So that's a great connection to have. That's something that it's amazing. And you can obviously like there's so many research projects going on that you can kind of like figure it out, like research, medicine, or whatever you want to do. The challenge is big, big challenge, guys. It's unpaid. So it's in Boston, so like you have to consider your commute. You have to consider that you're like they don't offer like food. So like you will be spending money to get there. You're gonna be basically be paying to work. Your hours required are for 15 or 16 hours a week. So you have to commit in person for 16 hours a week, which is like a lot considering class schedule. Like, I don't know if someone here is a pre-med, but like I have a lot of labs, so that's hard because the commute also takes time. So like that's very hard to balance. I was able to make it work, especially because I spent the entire summer working full time, so I got like a bunch of hours. So sometimes when I need to like I have an exam and I need to like kind of like leave early, they're super understandable with that, but understanding with that, but it is an unpaid position and you have to have the means to get there because you have to drive to the train station, you have to like do the commute and that's a hurdle, like big hurdle. I love that I have the opportunity right now to conduct study visits. Sometimes like you feel like it's easy, but it's really not because every participant is very different and you have to have like the opportunity to just like deal with different situations. I heard things that are just like, how do I even respond to that? And you have to like come up with just a good professional way of handling the situation. So that was a great teaching experience for me. Um, I learned how to be involved in the entire research process. starting with like talking to the IRB, submitting amendments, just making sure that I know like all of the study protocols to like data checking, statistics, conducting like the actual study visits, the softwares, everything. Great mentoring from different PIs. I worked with neuroscience people, with behavioral people. So no matter what you're interested in, you're gonna have the opportunity there, especially because it's unpaid. They try to like make sure that you're getting like the opportunity that's more meaningful for you. I learned a lot about brain imaging equipments, which personally for me, that's all I wanted. So I did get MRI certified for like the large bores, so that's great. They paid for it, all of my training. That was good. Training different behavioral areas. So I am certified to like conduct like a bunch of like mental health assessments. Like I know how to assess risk, and it's just like I don't know. It was great learning. I just learned so much about like literature as well because while I was doing like reviews, I had to read so many articles. I had to just like go beyond like what I was asked.
Yeah, great. I think that's everything. Great.
And yeah,
Great.
that was it.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
All right. Next, we've got Angela.
All right, my name's Angela. I'm a senior here at Merrimack. I'm studying psychology with a minor in neuroscience, and I'm doing my internship for Coaching for Change in Lawrence, Massachusetts. So Coaching for Change, their mission statement is heavily influenced throughout the program, but it's empowering college students to ignite change for the next generation. So my internship actually does serve quite a large population. So we actually focus on serving schools in high need, low income communities with diverse populations. So as you can see on some of the images, we do location sites in Lawrence, Waltham, Hyde Park, Brockton, New Bedford, Taunton, Fall River, and we also do some sites over in Rhode Island, which is like Lincoln, Falls, and Providence. And then you can also see as well, I have a little infographic on the side. So we have Coaching for Change employs 60% of Black, Indigenous, and people of color, 40% of first generation students, and 33% multilingual college students, which I think is really cool. So staff roles, you can either be a college mentor or a college ambassador. As a college mentor, we work to support students in terms of academics, social emotional learning, behavior, and or attendance. As college mentors, we also lead one-on-one or small group instruction. So me personally, I have a group about like maybe 5 to 10 students that I have at a time, who I also share my role with different mentors as well as my supervisor in the same room. But it is a very small group, and we usually like to keep it the same so each student doesn't have to feel like they're like meeting new people every couple weeks. So we tend to keep our small groups the same. And we also work with other mentors to develop ways to best support students and build rapport with a consistent group of students to deepen their connection with us and to the school. So this is my supervisor. Her name is Angelique Pena. Her role at Coaching for Change is being a college partnership coordinator. Her role consists of placements for college mentors and ambassadors at their sites, overseeing their progress within the classroom. She was actually a recent hire at the Coaching for Change team, where she graduated in May of 2025 from Seton Hall University. She was majoring in interprofessional health sciences with a concentration of health administration and management. She gives us a little bit of a different perspective on what she learned over in college. But she's been really great in making sure that we feel comfortable with the students as well as the students being comfortable with us at the same time. And she's always in the classroom with us, so she's always around if we have any questions about anything or raising any concerns about any students. So what is my role? In this organization, my role as a college mentor is to work with a group of middle schoolers in an after-school based program. In my role, I assist with homework, academic struggles, and personal struggles in and out of school setting. So I'm kind of like just a mentor for all of them if they're willing to talk to me about their day. I'd love to hear about their day. Some of them like to address me with some personal home life problems that they've been facing, or sometimes they'll just tell me about like whatever's going on in their day that they needed to talk or vent it out with someone. So I'm always there with them, and I'm also there to be able to help them with homework, whether it's like algebra, AP classes, anything like that that they need help on or have questions with, I'm always there for them. So just making sure that they're staying on a schedule and making sure that the grades are being maintained while also maintaining a connection with all of the students as well. Why did I choose this internship site? I chose this site because it directly correlates with my future plans. So I intend to get my master's degree in counseling, and this site allows me to build and learn new skills related to counseling. I feel like my supervisor gives us a lot of free reign on whether we talk to students about something personal that's going on, but we also are able to report them since we are all mandated reporters for that specific organization. So if we do feel like a concern or anything like that, are able to report it to either the state or our supervisor, which I think is really important to notice. Like before I get my master's, just being able to notice very like specific behaviors that might pertain to something dangerous happening to them in the future. This also helped me to connect with supervisors, peers, and students, and those are aspects that also allowed me to choose this internship site just because building connections in and out of the classroom with students, my supervisors, my peers. I mean, any connection could be a good connection. So I feel like just being able to talk to different people from completely different backgrounds is also really important. What challenges do I face? I think one of the biggest challenges I have is trying to connect with the kids that I have. So I work with a group of middle schoolers, so they range from ages for 14, I believe, to 15. The youngest one I have is 13. So they do vary quite a little bit in age, and a lot of the time they have a lack of trust, and their different backgrounds make it hard for them to conversate with me. A lot of them come from low income homes, so they don't have the ability to like talk to a therapist or talk to anybody outside of a school-based setting. So it takes them a while to build up their trust, which I feel like is a really big challenge. The first 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I would say, it was really hard to have them open up to me and like have me be more than just someone who's just there to look at them or be with them after school. I feel like we're now building a connection and like talking about like personal struggles and everything like that, and just going further than just helping them with homework. So I would say that's like definitely one of the biggest challenges about this site. What do I like most about my internship? I know I've mentioned it a lot, but being able to get to know the students, understand their humor, quirks, all while helping them with their bigger goals is something that's really important to me. I'm hoping it's important to them as well. I would also say their age group and socioeconomic background hinders their emotional growth, which is crucial for them at their age. So being able to help them through that difficult time is really important to me. And also being able to help them get out of their shell a little bit as they're like going through a lot of these changes. And I'm glad that they have someone to talk to outside of school as well. So they can always come to me or the supervisor or any of their peer mentors, which is really nice. But yeah.
Great. Thank you. Okay, next we've got Mitchell.
So for my internship, I have done mine at Shed Children's Campus, um, and that is located at 65 Phillips Street, North Andover, which is around just about like a 10-minute commute from Merrimack campus, right next to the Phillips Academy in North Andover. Um, so here are my supervisors, Linda, Dina, and Shayna. The main supervisor that I have contact with is Dina, as Linda like overviews a lot of the um, paperwork and like the families that are like involved. Dina's more involved with like the team and the community that we're working with. Um, so a big thing about them is their mission statement, which follows curiosity-driven learning. So what this means is kind of just like that the children are put in the in the driver's seat of their own development and their own exploration. Um, so we provide that environment for them to like kind of figure this out, shape it, um, and to explore. And not only do we like act like as a teacher, but also like as a mentor, as a friend, as a support system. Um, it's their mission to create safe spaces in which every child can thrive. And they do these through five major pillars that they focus on, which is Reggio Emilia, which is the idea of having the kids be in control of it and have you be like along the way as a guiding hand or support. Um, Nature, mindfulness, community, and gardening, which all work in their own way as well as intertwining with each other. So the population serves 2 to 15 years old, though as of right now, it's around to about 11 or 12. And the ratio within this environment is 5 students to every 1 teacher. And they're serving families from anywhere around like the corner in Andover to surrounding areas that are also nearby, such as Methuen, Haverhill, Middleton, Reading, etc. Some of the requirements of being there and of myself are kind of like simple as not only is it like a before and an after school program, but it's also like some people may say it's like a daycare. You're expected to watch over children, supervise their activities, make sure they're safe, make sure they're doing the right thing, regardless of what group you're looking out for. Um, Helping stimulate thinking and interest in new topics, like we were saying, kind of to help them like create and explore their own um, development. We have to kind of be there, obviously, to help meet them halfway. So if they're having trouble with something, it's to kind of help them. Um, Along with that, problem solving, engaging with each other, not only just the kids, but the families, parents, really like strengthening that bond between the community and the organization is important. Guidance and scheduling, giving kids like a sense of where they need to be and what they need to accomplish by certain times, giving them time frames and certain schedules is really important to their development. Um, Another big one, obviously, assuring kids are leaving with their parents and caregivers. It's really important for that, um, for a multitude of reasons. Um, and I would say ultimately maintaining healthy relationships between children and teachers as we act there, we may hear from the parents, we may hear from the school, we may hear from one of our supervisors. If there's a challenge or something that may be facing one of the kids, we're there to not only relay the message to their parents or family or guardians, but to also help them, overcome it. So some of the reasons why I chose Shed was number one, I was looking for a place with a lighter commute. Um, and obviously, I feel like that one was very, very fitting, as it is still pretty close. And along with this, um, I was given a recommendation from Merrimack when looking for it. I had heard that other students had also done interning here, and so then with that connection, helped it a lot. As I personally had also worked with younger age children and school age children, working and volunteering in this kind of area was also something that I had just been used to and felt like I could continue working with. Um, they're extremely welcoming and caring, even during like the interview process to my first like few weeks of being there. And even just reaching out leading up to the start of it. They're very, very open, communicating, they're very caring, they're very understanding as well to any like problems or issues with showing up that I may have or that others may have. Um, Not only just my supervisors, but everybody that I work with as well. They're all very open. They're all very communicative as well. Um, and yeah, some potential challenges, mediating as, you know, I work with second graders, so sometimes the situations and problems that they have with each other are a little strange, um, or minor, but to them it's a lot bigger. So just trying to find like a fair middle ground between, both sides that you can have both of them be pleased or understanding of the outcome is a little bit of a challenge sometimes. Also, if you just don't have experience with kids, that could be a challenge. Um, such as like just resilience, patience, um, like it says at the bottom, managing high energy and like just overall emotional regulation is really important to do, where you really need to stay happy and charismatic and open and personable. Whereas like say if you're having a bad day, you can't really let that reflect it, or else it kind of just influences and affects those that are around you and the rest of the day that you're again with. Finding a fine line between being friendly and assertive with the kids is also another tough one. Especially as some of them do have um, emotional and behavioral issues, trying to find that uh, not dissociation, but that like the line between, how much you can really be a friend and you can be relaxed with them versus having to actually give them the discipline that they need. And along with that, you know, finding the difference in the authority that you give them and being able to really like show the difference and hey, we're being serious right now versus hey, we're having fun. And so far, what I've enjoyed most is getting to meet those that I'm surrounded by, not only just the kids, but again, like those that I'm working with, such as their interests, who they are, where they come from, um, certain tactics, certain strategies that they use that I may be able to implement. That's been really eye-opening. Um, like I was just saying, learning about more about the child's interests, day by day, you get to meet new and new people and learn more about yourself. You learn more about others. You get to share it with each other. Um, and going off that, you're not only just teaching others, but you're also learning more about yourself and others. Um, the interaction just with everybody has been very good. It's been very personable. Um, along with that, just considering the long-lasting effects that you may have, not only on those that you're working with, your coworkers, your supervisors, any family or children that you may be in contact with.
Great. All right. Thank you. Okay, Julia, you are up next.
Hello, I'm Julia and I'm a junior and my major is psychology. This semester I interned at the Community Crisis Stabilization Unit in Lawrence and it's located at 12 Methuen Street. And this is a picture where it is located. The program is affiliated with Beth Israel, and their mission statement is to provide extraordinary care where the patient comes first, supported by world-class education and research. This is just some info about the unit itself. It's a 24-hour facility and it aims to encourage groups, connect clients with medication evaluations, and also follow through with aftercare plans. It offers a short-term residential stabilization service for people with psychiatric and/or substance use disorders. Um, the population consists of both men and women, and they need to be 18 or older to be able to be admitted to the program. These individuals are struggling with mental health concerns such as depression, anxiety, substance use, and many more. And the length of the program is 3 to 5 days, and individuals are accepted at a voluntary basis. So in the unit, it consists of a few mental health counselors and also one nurse. The mental health counselors' roles are to provide supportive, respectful, non-judgmental care to clients and assist them in meeting goals, and also assisting them with case management, recording and reporting all observed symptoms, reactions, treatments, and changes. They also assist the nurses in admitting and discharging clients. And the nurses' roles are collecting appropriate assessment and screening information. They also oversee medications and they're monitoring and recording biomedical status and conditions of the clients. and they're also making sure the patient is safe on the unit. So these are the two main contacts that throughout the semester at my site. Allison is the internship training manager at BILH and is one of the main sources of contact in the beginning, especially during like the application process. And I also had to attend an orientation session with her. And then Sandy is the clinical supervisor at CCS, and she's also one of the mental health counselors. She was who I reported to on a day-to-day basis and also who guided me throughout my time at my site. So some of the responsibilities that I had at my site were to observe the counselors, sit in on admissions of clients and also sometimes discharges, and engage with the clients, co-facilitate group, sit in with the nurse practitioner, and also perform 30-minute safety checks. So why CCS? I chose CCS in Lawrence because of the diverse population of clients. You kind of see everything there, and I also thought that'd be a great place for me to gain like the first experience in the field. I also have a big interest in like specific mental health disorders, and it seemed like CCS involved this. My time spent at CCS demonstrated a broad range of clients who are dealing with different mental health concerns like anxiety, depression, and also schizophrenia. So CCS also was very close to Merrimack, so I found that very appealing when like putting in applications. Um, and my supervisor knew I was a student and they were willing to help me work out a schedule that was best for me. So they were really flexible. These are some strengths and challenges that I found. Some strengths and also stuff that I enjoyed was that I was able to engage with clients. And I also gained experience of working with clients who are struggling with specific mental health concerns. And I also really enjoyed the clients like psych assessments. It was interesting to like read like their evaluations and like put a face almost to like what we read in like textbooks and stuff. So that was interesting. And also some of the challenges were that clients are only there for like 3 to 5 days. So it's not really a long time. So it can be kind of difficult to build like a connection with them. I was also on site only like 2 days a week. So most of the time it was like different clients every time I came in. So that was kind of a barrier. And finally, it could be challenging when the census was low on the unit. There's only 8 beds, so that when there was only like a few people, it was kind of difficult to engage. And overall, CCS was a great learning experience for me, and I definitely recommend it to people who are willing to learn and explore the diverse environment.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Next, we got Olivia.
Alrighty. Hey guys, I'm Olivia. I am also a psychology major with a minor in biochemistry on the pre-med track. So I also did my internship site. Oh, my internship site, please forgive me, at CCS, which is the Crisis Stabilization Unit. So a lot of this is going to sound very repetitive, so I'll just go through pretty quickly. The organization's mission statement is to create healthier communities, one person at a time, through seamless care and groundbreaking science, driven by excellence, innovation, and equity. We can go to the next one. Alrighty. As you guys heard, the population served is adults 18 and older experiencing acute mental health and substance use crisis. Um, Individuals needing a short-term 3 to 5 day stabilization as an alternative to hospitalization. So it's a very unique and diverse um, population that we're serving because it's kind of that like sweet spot in between like not ill enough to be hospitalized, but not safe enough to go home. So it's a very unique and diverse community that we're serving. Um, so there's many staff roles here. We have a psychiatrist or a psychiatric nurse practitioner. She conducts evaluation, prescribes medication, and then oversees all the treatment. Then we have licensed clinical social workers, um, or the licensed mental health counselors. They provide therapy, do intakes, and care coordination. Then we have the RNs, and then the LPNs. They manage medications, physical assessments, and daily care. Um, and then we have the behavioral health clinicians. They provide immediate intervention and stabilization services. And then we have support staff and peer specialists. They're on site but don't work immediately on the floor. They come and help conduct like groups and things like that. As you guys probably already read on the last one, my supervisor was Sandra Butler. Her background is like pretty unique. She worked in the field for almost 20 years. Um, Oh, sorry. She has experience in crisis intervention, trauma informed care. She worked a lot with the homeless population, which I also found very interesting because we see a lot of that on the unit. So she kind of pretty like she gauged pretty well, and she actually knew a lot of the people that she'd see on the floor from prior experience in other jobs. More so, my role as an intern was assisting with intakes, assessments, and gathering psychological history, observing and supporting crisis intervention and de-escalation. A lot of helping with documents, treatment plans, progress notes, and client updates. And then also attending like staff meetings and clinical supervision sessions, and then engaging with clients, and helping them support their recovery goals. So that could be like checking groups or doing groups as a whole, or just those like one-on-one conversations. Um, I had many reasons why I specifically chose this internship, but I was drawn to the multidisciplinary team environment and the opportunity to learn from licensed clinicians who specialize in acute mental health care. I also got the chance to shadow nurse practitioners during intakes and medication adjustments, which was really what I like because I'm pre-med. So it was interesting to be able to have like the best of both worlds on that spectrum. And then the site focused on community-based stabilization, which aligns with my professional goals to support individuals in underprivileged communities. We can go to the next one. Sorry. What I liked most about my internship, I enjoyed seeing clients progress from crisis stabilization within a short period. Um, I also work at another location that's within Best Israel Lehi. That's TSS, which is our transitional support services. So many of the people that I once upon a time would see in CSS, I would then once again see in TSS. So it was really like full circle to see their progress and growth from like CSS, which we call a lower class, not really like a lower class, but there's like levels and like the steps of getting clean or like recovery. So that was like seeing them from like a lower level to the higher level, which is like TSS, which is the portion right before they go back home. Um, and then also the supportive team environment and collaboration among the staff have really helped me learn about different professional roles in mental health care. Um, I also value being able to observe real world applications of therapeutic techniques and crisis assessments and medication management. This experience has strengthened my understanding about how biological, psychological, and social factors interact with in mental and behavioral health. This internship has been an eye-opening experience that connects my academic learning to practical mental health care. It has deepened my interest in crisis stabilization.
Great, thank you. All right. Last but not least, we've got Tim.
Okay. My name is Tim, and I will be talking about Walker today. Um, you can go to the next slide. That is the logo. You can go to the next slide again. Um, Walker has been around since the 60s. It's a nonprofit. Mostly what they do is help children through a variety of ways all over Massachusetts. Mostly behavioral health, special education programs. They have a ton of different stuff. The one that I'm involved with is the wellness coach program. So basically, you are brought in and trained for a month and then sent into either a school or an after school program somewhere in Boston. And you go in and try to help with the mental health challenges that are going on in that area. You can go to the next slide. This is the mission statement. It's kind of long. I'll just read it out. Walker transforms the lives of children and youth who are facing complex emotional, behavioral, and learning challenges by partnering with these children and youth, their families, and communities to nurture hope, build strengths, and develop lifelong skills. Okay, you can advance. These are the core values. These also come right from their website. We actually got these, they were like hung up on the wall on our first day of training, too. So they're child-centered and family-driven. They focus on safety, respect. It is strengths-based. They focus on excellence and to foster continuous learning. Basically, what I get from that, they're just trying to help to empower these kids and give them sort of a good environment to build their lives on. The staff roles in the wellness coaching program, you have junior wellness coaches, which I am. It's just all the people that are just starting at Walker, that this is their first role, and we have to be trained up, and then will eventually go into the schools or the after school programs. The senior wellness coaches are junior wellness coaches from last year that came back into the program and are sort of in a mentorship role to us. Each junior wellness coach has a senior wellness coach that they can go to ask for support or anything that you might need. And then there is a wellness coach supervisor, which we'll get to later. Those are the point people, the wellness coach supervisors. And they are literally just there to answer any questions that you might have. They've been with Walker for a while, but in other roles for either even longer than that. And they're just really good at their jobs, really nice people, and they'll help you with literally anything that you could ask them. And these are them. They are Tayani and Lauren. Um, they're both licensed. Is a licensed mental health clinician, and Lauren is a licensed social worker. They're both really awesome. I've had a lot of great conversations with both of them. Um, they're like best friends too, so it's funny to watch them interact with each other. Um, if you wanted to know, Tayani loves the gym and Lauren loves soccer. So we've had a lot of conversations about the gym and soccer also. This is the actual like description of the wellness coach project. I figured I should include it because it literally is a like down to the roots of why this program was put into place and what it's looking to do. Just kind of paraphrasing it all. Um, the wellness coach program was designed for two reasons. First is to sort of be a preventative mental health program to help children who aren't like, don't, let me see if they say it here. I struggle with how to word it. Um, yeah, for youth in school and community settings that don't have like really, really intense mental health problems that aren't being treated as of now, but to still have people in those programs who are trained and who have like qualifications to help if there are people that are struggling with mental health issues that aren't as severe or that kind of get swept under the rug at times. And the second reason that it was instated is to help early stage professionals in this field to get experience and to sort of learn, especially from the supervisors, how to do this job properly. And it gives you sort of like a good jumping off point at the beginning of your career, especially if you want to be, well, I mean, it kind of depends. I'll get into it later. But if you want to be a clinician, this is a good place to start. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, we'll get into it now. There is sort of a big difference between if you are put into a school and if you are put into an after-school program. At a school, you are doing a lot more one-on-one, small groups, helping people with their mental health directly. Where at an after-school program, you're not doing that as much just because there's not the structure there to have that sort of interaction. Mostly what you're doing is working with your people at the program to identify the children who could use support. And then you kind of keep an eye on them while they're going through their programs. And then also, this isn't technically a part of the job description, but it's something that I've started doing. I've helped to design and run programs at the club that sort of help with mental health challenges. Um, there's one that we're developing now. Oh my goodness. I forget. There's like a little tablet that the licensed social worker has, and it is all sorts of techniques that help with regulating your emotions, and it's put into like a video game format. So the plan is to use this tablet and sort of get like a bunch of them and then have it be a program for the kids that we identify that struggle with these mental health issues. So then it's like a recurring program that they can come in and sort of work on their emotional regulation, which I think is a really cool idea. And that's just like an idea of the sort of things that you can work on there if you want to. Why I chose this, um, preventative mental health is really important to me. I think that it's something that goes under the radar a lot in our society. A lot of our mental health work is done reactively instead of proactively. And I think that's something that should change. And this internship was the only thing that I saw that had any sort of preventative mental health leaning to it. So that really drew me to this instead of the other internships that I was looking at. Um, there's tons of training and certifications that go along with this, which I was happy to get done. That's what your whole month. I started in the summer doing this internship. So you get a whole month before the internship actually starts to do trainings and get certifications, which I thought was a really cool thing. I have a lot of respect for boys and girls clubs. Um, I didn't go to a boys and girls club, but I wrestled in a boys and girls club program. So I was kind of involved with it, and I thought that they did a really good job. There's a big emphasis on future growth opportunities. Like I said before, a lot of the emphasis here is about helping early stage professionals. So Tayani and Lauren, a lot of their job for us is to prepare us down the line and sort of help us to build career ideas and um, just sort of give you a clearer picture of what you want to do, not just on the day to day at the club, but going forward. And they do a really good job of that. So I love it. I love them. Great interviews with Tayani and Lauren. And then I just like Walker. They do a good job, I think. The challenges, the Boys and Girls Club role, it's newer. It only started last year working with Boys and Girls Clubs, so you kind of gotta get in and figure it out yourself. I have my senior wellness coach actually worked in a Boys and Girls Club last year, so that's been very helpful. But if I didn't have her to sort of reference, like, how do you do this job, it would have been kind of difficult. There is a lot of pressure working with children. You just have a big impact on their lives going forward. They're so, like, they're still developing, so kind of everything that you do can have a big impact. Um, Also, if you don't like leading, this would probably not be a great job for you. Um, I went in and then, like, almost immediately I was put into the Girls on the Run program, which I knew nothing about. And then, like, the actual supervisor that was supposed to be leading the program got called to do something else. So I was just there, like, running the whole program, which was a lot, but it was a great learning opportunity. And I feel like now that that's happened, I feel comfortable in those scenarios. The training is really long, but I liked it. The schedule can be intense. It is in Boston, so if you're doing it from Merrimack, it's a pain in the butt to get there every day. And it's also pretty difficult to learn the differences between working with a first grader and with a senior in high school. It's just like completely different worlds. And I do struggle with the older age groups. I've done more work with the younger ones, and that's pretty easy. I've worked with kids before, so that not that difficult for me, but learning how to do sort of mental health related things with older students has been a challenge for me, and I would assume it's a challenge for other people too. And then yeah, I just like the relationships that are there with the staff, with the kids. It's a really great learning opportunity. I feel like I'm making a difference. Um, like I said before, with the programs that I'm starting to develop, you can sort of build the role to be whatever you want it to be there. They're very open and they like you sort of, or they'll listen to you and all that kind of stuff. Um, Yeah, also, it's just very dynamic and every day is different. That can be a positive or a negative, but I like it.
Great. Thank you. All right. Well, thank you all so much. That was great. I am going to pause my recording now.